Alright, welcome to episode 48 of History Rewritten. In the last episode we had quite a lot of things really. We had the start of nuclear programs in this country and possibly in this country. The Arabic Union and Russia, I mean. Russia the one who's actually got it. And the Arabic Union is now working on getting one and starting their own nuclear weapons program. The Green Team already have nukes and their leader died. And then that entire political thing kind of fell apart, but at the end they transitioned to communism, which they're now spreading around to their friends. It's like, this country's communist, you're now communist, you're kind of communist, you're not very willingly communist, but you're getting there, and this one's also transitioning towards communism, and this could spread to a lot of other countries in this area, so I'd watch out. Also, the Green Team is going to be building some more nukes, so don't worry about that. I switched the colours to these guys after that because I didn't like their colours at all. They had the independence of this country, probably a few other countries, like this ugly thing, good old straight line over here. Oh yeah, I did add some straight lines to Tanzania as well, just because, yeah, that's kind of how the European powers would have divided up. The only country that doesn't have straight line borders, at least not like this, yeah, Uganda, it's just a lot of straight lines. Is this coastal one, because they're based on the actual old Lime Team colony that existed here, and it's more of like a people, they were a country briefly, for like an episode, before the colonies went, hey, I'm back, and colonized them, so, yeah. But yeah, that's quite cool. We've got a lot of new countries there. We have Libya's back, after a bit of time not existing. Spheres of influence in Europe, Crimea and Crete siding with their groups. I don't know. I'm not very good at talking, it seems. More independent countries in the Caribbean and Central America. Loads of new Swedish ones. It's like 5 new nations down here. Jamaica, the Amazon, this weird looking thing. I'm probably going to see some more independences today. And more nuclear stuff. And probably more communism. So it's an exciting episode that I've got for you. Anyway, yeah, so the tripolar system in this Cold War, which is 3 countries in a Cold War, which is kind of what some people kind of expected, or I've seen things about expecting, the US, the USSR, and the UK in a Cold War thing, but yeah, the UK would have to be the Imperial Federation to really compete in the Cold War, because I mean, dominions, and de facto independence, and then countries actually getting independence. We have stuff, like nukes and things, but meh. I don't really think we can compete with the USSR, especially seeing as in this timeline. Actually, there's no link, but I don't know what I'm trying to get at, but yeah, we're not as strong as the US or the USSR. And proportionally, in the past, we were. Anyway, let's get on with doing some stuff. So, these guys, it's got nuclear information, and they're starting to build nukes out here in Smolensk, which is the capital of this country. I don't think it's actually in Smolensk, which is like over here, I think. Oh well, it's Smolensk, because I like that city. Welcome to Smolensk. No, that was terrible. Anyway, the Green Team's found out about this, and they're going to be building some more of these giant exploding nuclear bombs. Just blow up loads of cities. The Arabics, have heard about this, and they're going to try and gather their own information. So spies in the southern areas of this country, who, can still go between it, because they were there before, when the Green Team took the territory, and nationalities and stuff, people moved before the Green Team kind of shut their borders. They have managed to extract some information about nukes, and they're going to start their own nuclear program here in Baghdad. So, they're doing some stuff. And a few other countries like to get things. Like the British Empire would like to get their own nukes. So they're going to go to the Arabics, who they helped to become an empire again. And the Russians, who they just kind of pretty good relations with. They have similar friends in Northern Europe, just like in this sort of area. So that's cool. They're kind of going to want to deny it, but also you're having troubles with the troubles. You're having trouble with the Arabics now. Probably not a good idea to get the British Empire on your bad side. So Russia's going to, bit by bit, give the British some nuclear information so they can start their own nuclear program. A lot of nuclear powers are going to appear. Speaking of other nuclear powers, China is also a nuclear power. They have one bomb. And Korea would like to get another one because they don't like China being stronger than them. If we look at power rankings at this point, UK is still in #1. Probably won't be for too much longer. I mean, like, they have New Zealand, Sumatra, Egypt, Sudan, the Yucatan Peninsula, and just the UK in general, which is still strong. But gradually they're going to lose all those things, and by like 1980, I think the entire world will probably be decolonized. At this point, we're in 1960, so, only 2 decades left, really, until that's a reality. Possibly beforehand. I mean, like, at the end, it's going to be like, oh, you've still got some random islands, or you still have the Falklands, Istria, or something like that, probably. Sorry. We'll see. Anyway, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. But it's the UK followed by followed by Istria, Iberia, then Ireland. Number 4 goes to Russia. Number 5 is the Green Team. Number 6 is the Arabic Union. Number 7 is Korea. Number 8 is China. Number 9. I feel like I should know this. Also, I feel like I've missed out some country, so I hope I didn't. Number 9 might be the terracotta country. And then number 10 is probably France. That sounds about right. They're both using some colonies. They lost Hispaniola last time, so yeah. Anyway, the Koreans using Hainan and like Korean people who are still in China and stuff have managed to work out some Chinese nuclear information. They are also going to try and build their own nuclear program. The Chinese kind of discovered this. They go, hey, spies, naughty spies, and they're going to start building more nuclear bombs. So at the moment, China's got 1, and the Green Team has 2. It's going to get a lot more, probably, sometime soon. Not probably, there will be. Speaking of the Green Team, they've got a new country in their alliance, which is the Grey Team. They are not the strongest. They should probably have more major cities. They've not done very much across this, but also their borders are beautiful. They haven't transitioned to communism like all the other Green Team allies, but they might sometime soon. So yeah, we'll see what happens with. Alright. Was there something else I was going to talk about? Oh yeah, so the Koreans, they've extracted information from China using Hainan, but the independence movements in Hainan are absolutely massive, so in the end the Koreans might just have to let it go. So they're going to do that. Is this a good colour? It's a really nice colour actually. I don't know. I'm choosing which colour. Blues. There's some video about blues that I watched. I was like, oh, lots of people like the colour blue. Don't know why. Well, no, it's because there's not many negative connotations with the colour blue. Unless you're afraid of water, I suppose. You know what, sure, why don't we make Hainan the colour of what Korea used to be? So Korea used to be this colour when they were first created, and now Hainan can be this colour. I don't know. And your capital will be here. I recently added that city, like today. I added that city into existence. Anyway, so the Koreans have lost a colony, but you also own all of this, all of these, all of this huge colony. You've got this thing, got this thing. You'll be fine, Korea. It's just the island of Hainan. I wouldn't worry too much. Over to the Bay of Bengal. So the Bengali Alliance, what would I call it? The South Asian Syndicate. I was going to call it the Bengali Brotherhood. I mean, these names are, they're so naff. Anyway, it's now 3 countries because the Arabic Union left, which sent it down to 2, because it's just Bengal and Myanmar, and then recently the Andaman Islands joined in like 1950 something. But they're getting a new member, which is going to be this random green country. There's not much going on in this country. Their capital is all the way out here. They're not very powerful. They're just existing. Anyway, let's stay in the Indian subcontinent because stuff is happening here. That's crazy. I can't believe it. Stuff usually never happens. Anyway, this is going to be independence for a few island things, as these groups of islands will be going up, getting their independence from Brittany, who is really going quite far ahead with this decolonization thing. I forgot what it's called there for a second. This new island nation will be putting their capital city. Let's see. I mean, it's not gonna matter for that much, really. You're gonna be underwater sometime soon in this series, so I wouldn't worry too much. You can put your capital city there. Enjoy it whilst you can. So they might join some alliance sometime soon. The Indians aren't, or like the Lime team, they're not showing much towards joining the Green team's alliance. Yeah, conflicting spheres of influence. I mean, the Lime team's sphere of influence kind of is a bit depressing. It's probably something a bit like this. That's a bit sad. I mean, it would have included this country, and maybe there's a bit for like these two. So actually, it's probably something like this. But also, that's very sad. So yeah, the Lime team's a bit unhappy. They're not really doing much. They're just worrying about their economy. But they are actually growing up in economy. So although they have lost a ton of their land, if you look at their max territory compared to this, they've lost loads. They are getting stronger. So maybe you need to worry about the Lime team in the future because they are getting a lot more powerful. Speaking of countries that lost in World War II, kind of like how Germany is now a good old Western nation, the Sludge team is actually moving towards more Western ideals. They're becoming a lot more like, let's be nice to people. After we did loads and loads of horrible atrocities to people, we shouldn't have done that. So yeah, the Sludge team is becoming a better nation. They're more influenced by the Terracotta country and the Russians. More the Russians, really, because there's still natural hatred with these guys. But they're trying to help out these countries, so good for them, I suppose. Anyway, continuing on with Brittany, because we were going to do some stuff with them. Independence for this big thing over here. So it's kind of like some Ethiopian state. They'll be receiving their independence. It's a pretty huge colony, and the fact that it all goes together is relatively unbelievable for some people. And yeah, it's actually too unbelievable for some people, as I can't picture these borders. A pretty huge amount of the country will go up in rebellion. That's just rebellion lines. So all of this bit has gone, I want my independence, mate. And there's a few other bits over here. These two bits both want their independence from this country, and that's no good for this new country. The Bretons are coming in from their islands over here that they control to try and help out. However, these rebels are pretty powerful, I would say. So they have to work out some good peace treaty with them. Luckily, the capital of this country is right in the south, so it's fortunate. However, the rebels do take this mage city because there wasn't really much up here, which is why they wanted that. And they work on taking a few of these areas before they finally agree to peace. So, what is that going to look like for this poor unfortunate new nation who've already been thrown into war? It's probably not going to look very good, because I want to make sure these borders are actually straight lines. Not entirely, but also lots of this is being drawn by the Bretons, so let's keep that in mind, shall we? Doesn't all have to be straight lines, however, because it nearly ended up like that. Yeah, I nearly turned this entire country into just straight line land. Let's not do that. I'm sorry if this isn't very interesting for you. I will try and make it more interesting. But also, I'm just drawing the borders of random countries. So, yeah. I'm sorry. Country number 1, right up here. Bet you can't guess where the capital's going to be. It's going to be right over there. In their one major city. As for this other country, they get to keep a pretty large amount of their land. They will get all of this bit over here, and then this bit's going to go back to these guys. Sorry. Let's also try and make this border just slightly bit better. There we go. Does that improve this? No, it makes it look horrible. But that's kind of the intention with this. Just draw some truly horrific borders. Anyway, there we go. New country. My God. New country number 1 suffered a huge load of rebellions because of ethnic groups, and the Bretons didn't handle this very well. They're kind of like, oh, there's people who want their independence. Well, don't worry, we can give them independence. And then it completely backfired in their face, so. Yeah, you get that. And you can go 65. There we go. A couple new countries. This dark blue one is not very powerful at all. Kind of, obviously. Your capital's down there on the south. Yours is going to be over here, and your capital is of course going to be in this southern city. Made that look interesting. The Bretons are still going to keep this island, probably for quite a long while. And then we move over to the oldest colony in continental North America, which is this Florida one. I think the first colony we ever had. I mean, it's all you define as another colony, but it was Iceland, I think. Or sort of like going towards America. Anyway. It's a monumental day, as, you know, the Breton Prime Minister, they've lost their king. He abdicated. He's not a Prime Minister, he probably abdicated, like, this year. He's probably quite old as well. Anyway, so he abdicated, and the government went, great, now we can give independence to other stuff. Also, he probably wanted to do that. Anyway, the king and the Prime Minister are over here. And they're gonna go, oh, well, it was nice owning you for about 400 years. Time for independence. Thanks. And now Florida is its own independent state. They're going to take the North Bahamas as well, because this thing couldn't survive for very long by itself. They've basically been a part of Florida for all of history, I suppose. Also, there might have been a major city on this island that I just destroyed. So we'll get that back. Boom, boom. And where will the capital of this country be? Over here. I think this is where they first made their landing in Florida. So we're going to put it right there. And that is now Florida. The Bretons have pretty much fully decolonized, and we got our first nation in this part of continental North America. This is more like Central America, so I don't care about it. Yeah, there's that. Let's go have a look at a war. We did just have a war, but it wasn't a very good one. Wasn't up to scratch, was it? Over here in Japan, so the Japanese, yeah, they had an unfortunate time, didn't they? They didn't come off too well from this peace treaty, in which, you know, the Koreans colonized some stuff, the Civilisation colonized some stuff, and 3 new nations were made from the remnants of this country, and one of them is going to be going to war with them today. And it's this yellowish one in the east. It's this yellowish one in the south. They've got claims on Japanese stuff. I'd like to know, just random rural area. Japan should probably have more cities, going by all the things they've done in history. Anyway, so they're going to invade into this area. It begins to take quite a lot of territory. The Japanese are starting to push back, but they're not. Their military's not really all there. They had military sanctions put on after World War II, and they just can't really fight back. They managed to maintain a front line over here, but they finally do push a bit more before peace is agreed on, and let's have a look at that peace treaty. Boom, 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 boom. As yeah, this South Japanese country will be allowed to annex everything that they've captured, and yeah, for all Japan, they're having a great time. The movement in northern Japan is very pro-independence. They would love to achieve that. However, the colonies are like, no, I like owning this. Speaking of colonies, though, time for some more independence for these guys. So, unfortunately for Sakhalin, the cries for independence got too loud, and they're going to give independence to these islands. Yeah, you thought I was going to say, like, Sulawesi. No, it's just the islands. Just these random islands want independence. Their capital is going to be... well, like, this bit did want independence. However, the sea's gone lurid. Anyway, their movement wasn't as big as this one, so they didn't really have a good place for a capital city, really. So I suppose in the end they're going to put their capital... they could put it on this island. Yeah, they're going to put it on this island, right in the middle here. They build their own capital city, which definitely didn't just destroy their own economy, but it's right in the middle of the other bits, so that's why. That was their thought process there. New country. Cool. It's going to blend in with the ocean really well. I'm glad of that. I'm contemplating doing some stuff. I feel that's some of the things I need to do, but... oh yeah, Cold War stuff. So last time we kind of had them choosing their best friends. So they've advanced quite a lot further now. The Russians are testing nuclear bombs in Siberia and on random Siberian islands, and the Arabic Union is testing them in this huge area of desert, because why not? The Green Team, they've manufactured another one, they're on their 3rd, and they're getting pretty close to their 4th. They have manufactured this new one in Iran, Persia area, and I mean they could just move it there anyway, but now there is a nuclear bomb somewhere within this country, ready to just launch on anyone. It's quite a more developed one than they had before, which was striking, I mean, this far. So then this one can probably hit, you know, it could definitely hit your capital city. It could hit China, it could hit a load of countries actually. So they've got some much better bombs, but also the Arabic Union and Russia are going to be developing bombs very similar to this. So, also, just to point out, this Russia is basically an ultra-capitalist Islamic Russia. Because the Green Team's religion is kind of this reality's version of Islam. Just like, that is such a strange sentence. Ultra-capitalist Islamic Russia. I'm glad I made this world. Messed up. Anyway, they're kind of choosing some of their other friends who are supporting them and stuff. In the Arabic Union, I've got backing them the Greeks. The Russians have the Grey Team backing them. They also are gaining this new very Western sludge team. I mean, the Balkans and Eastern Europe, they're kind of, it's a huge mess there. There's a lot of stronger powers going around. I support this one. Like, the Red Team, they're supporting the Russians. The Finns are kind of moving towards supporting the Russians. Estonia's a bit stronger because they've had more independent statehood before, like these guys have. They've normally been part of quite large countries, or just other things. There's this blue one over here, stuff like that. Although your religion is entirely different to everyone else's, because your religion's still that weird Druidic thing. They brought it back for some reason. They decided to bring it back, so that's returned here. But it's also just a font for tourism. It's a great idea to get loads of tourism. But you know, the Arabic Union, they're also being backed as well by Greece and Crete. What did I just say? Greece and Crete. I am so good at English. Crete and Greece, they've also got backing by, of course, this weird Limish thing. But the Northern Africans, and even the Italians to some extent, are backing them. These two guys are more undecided, but they're kind of moving towards this. These guys, no clue what they're doing. Probably not liking each other. That's their main agenda at this point. Yes, some more war. Great. The Chinese recently expanded, and guess what the Chinese have just done? Built their second bomb. Great. So the green team has 3, the Chinese have 2. Wonderful. Let's have another country go to war in this area. So the red team collapsed, and they'd like to rebuild a bit of their territory. They collapsed during the economic collapse, which makes a lot of sense. And they're going to be invading into this weird, whatever the colour this is, country. Most of their territory is very rural, and since the red team has a more developed state and a military and economy, and they're just better, yeah, this place just crumbles effectively. Lots of people actually want to be in this country, so they encircle the capital, take it very easily, and let's have a look at this peace treaty. I bet you can't guess what happens. I can. That's just how incredible I am. Anyway, wow, it felt weird. So. Anyway, so the dark red country will annex all of this golden stuff, and there we go. It looks kind of two-headed Cerberus sort of thing. Bizarre. Yeah. Speaking of communism, we weren't speaking of communism, but we are now. This pink country over here in Tibet is having a lovely time in the mountains. Has kind of transitioned towards a more socialist way of life, or thinking, or government, or whatever. They've become socialist. I hear you're a socialist now. That was a Father Ted thing, but they didn't say socialist. There's something else, which is worse than being socialist. Anyway, they've become sort of socialist, and they're leaning towards the green team's way of life, so great. It's kind of spreading the socialist ideal. Back over to South America, though, got some more independent stuff to do. Especially over here in Grenada. Recently they lost it, like this thing, got its independence. And now they're going to be going over to the western bit and going, right, you guys also get your independence. So this sort of Ecuador-looking colony will receive their independence. Right. Find a colour for this thing. That works. Boom. You can't really see that very well, but don't worry. This region will probably be decolonized relatively soon. If we go by what's happening so far, they have 2 major cities, which is probably inaccurate. So they're going to put their capital right down here in the south. Let's travel up to Sweden. We have another country receiving their independence. It is going to be this thing, and also this one. If you can't tell, I'm trying to make this region as revolting as I can, basically. So, that's nice. I'm trying to make a horrible looking Sweden. I'm just trying to make Central America have loads of countries, because, I mean, that's just kind of how it looks, you know. I'm trying to find a colour as well, but there's not all that many. So If we remove this, it's still just blue. Why is it still blue? Yeah. That's alright, we'll take this. Country number 1 and country number 2, sorry, it's a lot of independent stuff, you know? And it's difficult to get through all that. And another country of this sort of greenish brown colour. Lovely. You're going to put your capital right here, and you guys will put your capital over there. So they're losing more and more of this colony, but the most important bit, they're keeping the Panama Canal. That's all you need in life. Transitioning downwards though, we have a bit of this country coming off. This is of course the Catalonian country's colony. You know, they are going pro-decolonization at this point, so it makes a lot of sense. I mean, they're not pro-decolonization, but also they have to decolonize to get into the alliance, the North African alliance. So, you know, might as well slightly encourage it. So, independent country number 1, and as for independent country number 2, I just need to... Could you not be a pain? What is going on? I'm not sure what that is. Sorry, there's just a really loud noise in the background. Yeah, I'm confused. There we go, new independent country over here in the south. Probably need to end this episode sometime soon. So your capital's going to be there, your capital's going to be there. As you can see, a lot of these new South American countries. We've already got, like, enough countries to fill South America. But, like, actual South America, we've got 8. Wow, South America's got, like, 11 or something. Probably more than 11, but... 100. I'm not going to count them all. Yeah, so let's have a little check-in on nuclear bombs, shall we? So, with a total of 4 nuclear bombs, we have the green team. With a total of 2, we have China. A total of 1, we have Russia, and the Arabic Union's kind of working on it, so they've nearly got 1. Britain and Korea also pretty close to getting their own 1, but they started a bit later. So in the next episode, you can expect to see more nuclear stuff, and possibly more countries going for nuclear bombs. I mean, there's not a whole lot of other countries who are really powerful enough to do this. So, yeah, but there might be some other countries who start nuclear programs. We've just got to see how the Cold War evolves. Yeah, things heating up in Eastern Europe, definitely. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you again next time. Have a nice rest of your day. Goodbye.